So since we played a lot of water-themed games, as I said in the intro, we're going to do our top 5 water-themed board games. And I think we have a slightly differing list on what... So I picked games where the water actually makes some kind of mechanical sense. But I guess anybody can do whatever they want. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just went with nautical themes. And I realized that I have this collection of nautical games that I don't play. I have a whole bunch of games. I haven't played them, so I can't put them on my list.
That's fair.
So many.
There was a few that I looked at and I was like, that would have been cool to try before, but that's all right.
Same here.
I had a decent list, though, to pick from.
Yeah, I did too.
I still did. I get a lot of nautical games.
Well, cool. Let's start with you, George. I don't know if you started a top 5, have you?
I don't know. Don't remember. I'll start with my number 5, which is...
Whoa. Your phone.
My top 5, my number 5, which is Niagara. Do you want me to like say who made it and all that stuff?
Just describe what you liked about the game, like water, not the whole game, but just specifically about the water.
Okay, this is a game where you have guys that are taking canoes down a river, and they have to canoe down the river to get gems, and then canoe back up to deposit them.
This is not the one made by Mayfair, is it?
Hang on.
No, never. Go ahead. I remember
it's an older game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing
I'll look
something
it up.
like
Go ahead,
that.
George. Explain it. I'll look it up.
All right. Well, so you go down the river and you come back and you deposit your gems, and other people are canoeing on the same river, and they can steal your gems out of your canoe as you're moving around. You have a hand of cards, and they have some smaller values on them, and you have to decide when you play which canoe you're going to move, and the other canoe just kind of sits there in the stream. And what happens is at the end of your turn, you're going to take a round clear disc and put it at the head of the river and push all the discs downstream. So you're drifting downstream. And of course, at the end of the river, there's a Y fork in the river. And at each end of that, there are waterfalls. So when you push this disc in, one of those at the Y, the disc is going to go left or right. Mm-hmm. And it's going to push one of those discs off the edge of one of those waterfalls. So it's to push your luck as to how long you stay on the river. Are you going to get swept over the edge or not? Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy that mechanic, and it's cool. It's just a very clever and fun kind of bit of a mean game because you're stealing gems from each other and everything. But it's a short game, and it's all in good fun.
Yeah, and push your luck. So Tim probably liked it.
I actually think I remember this. Is this it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember this game, actually.
Is it Mayfair?
It's Rio Grande.
Oh, okay. It's probably the
Rio
one.
Grande.
I think we played it.
Yeah.
Did we?
I remember something about it.
Nope, I don't think we did, Eric. It's also really expensive.
Is it? Well, it's older. It's probably
well, never mind. I was looking wrong. I don't know what's up with Amazon. They suck.
Yeah.
Matt, what's your number 5?
I really don't know what you're going to say about these games.
That's fine. It's your list.
Does it have water in it?
If it has water in it, and I think if you're moving a boat on water,
if it has a boat,
I mean, because part of the mechanic is you have to know how many spaces to move the boat.
All right, go ahead.
Mechanic. I just started with Merchants and Marauders. It's a pirate game. The main bulk of the game is not the moving around, I guess. There's a lot more going on there with the trading and if you want to be a pirate or not, this and that. But you do have to move spaces on water. So
I will say the expansion adds weather conditions and things like that, so it amplifies the mechanics of the water.
Oh, it's where they actually might fight against you and stuff with
I think there's a storm that if you go into it, you randomly come out.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I didn't know about that, but sure, I'll use it.
I have it. We've never played it.
We never played it.
But I've got the expansion.
All right, number 5 for me is Santiago. It is not a good-looking game, but it is fun. It's a great negotiating, bribing type of game. You're trying to cultivate this field and trying to get water canals built through it, hopefully to benefit you the most. But in this game, one person is going to, every round, they're going to be the canal overseer. The other players are going to bribe this person to put this canal in a specific spot in the board. And you can either bribe or add to a bribe, or you don't have to bribe if you don't want to. the canal overseer, he decides if he's going to take one of these bribes. If not only does he not get the money for that bribe, he has to pay that much plus 1 to the bank to kind of, not do what other people want and do what he wants. So, very good game. If you haven't tried it out, recommend it.
That's a great choice. I wouldn't have thought about picking that one, but the water, yeah. My number 5 is High Tide. This is a Queen's game, pressure luck game where you're trying to get the best spot on the beach before the tides wash you away, apparently. It's a pressure luck game, and there's like different rows on this beach, and randomly the water will you have these little tide tokens that you kind of place up. Have you played this, George?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is fantastic.
I would like to play it.
Have you played Santiago?
I've not played that one.
Oh,
See,
so good.
But these are all, I have these games and I haven't played them. There's so many nautical games I haven't played. I have played Surf's Up, which is good though.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one. I haven't played it. So yeah, you're just trying to, your little meeples are a lawn chair, and you're trying to get the best spot on each of the lanes of the beach.
Like, the bonus in this game is pretty good.
They're pretty funny. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the greatest game ever, but it's pretty entertaining.
I'd like to play it.
Yeah.
Sweet. My number 4 is one that I'm not sure how to say. Moiterer, I guess. It means mutineer. And you have a series of cards that represent locations in a circle, and your ship is moving around them. There's also another ship, but you are trying to go around and collect goods and then go to the places that want these goods so that you sell them. And the captain is the only one who gets to decide which way the ship goes and where the ship goes. And as you play, other players can mutiny to overthrow the captain and decide where the ship goes. And you get points for mutinying as well as getting points for selling the cargo. But the captain can have a first mate and he can get people on his side, and so it's this back and forth, well, help me out and I'm going to go where you want to go, that kind of thing. It's such a good game.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Matt, what's your number 4?
I'm checking. I put Oracle or Delphi. Again, it's a boat. You move it around. This is the best I could come up with.
That's fair. We'll come back to that one.
Boats absolutely count.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it.
I mean, I think it counts. It's using
mine is a boat.
Yeah, you're using boats. It moves. All right.
Boats and moves.
All right, I'm actually using water over here. So number 4 for me is Spirits of the Rice Paddy. You're tending and making rice. So in this game, you are drafting these spirit cards, and with these spirit cards, you can use something that's gonna help you more, or you can use a spirit that's not quite as helpful but go first. And why you might want to do this is there's rain that comes every season or day. I forgot how that kind of works, but every season or day, a certain amount of rain is going to come into your fields, and whoever's first gets first dibs at this rain or this water.
Yeah, they're highest on the mountain. Sure.
Yeah, and then you have to, you get to use it into your fields and then drain it off, and it goes to whoever's second player. Second player uses any of this water into their fields. If they don't need any of it, they drain it off to third player and so forth. So another good game. I liked it. We reviewed it quite a while ago. I think Tim and Matt didn't like it as much as I did, but I did enjoy
that. Is
play.
Correct.
I'm with you, Eric. I really like this one.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I think it's a great balance where you have to have the powers, but the numbers of sort of your initiative associated with those powers determines who gets the rain first, and that's crucial.
So days where there's a little rain, if you go last, you might not get any water.
Yeah.
So I'll agree with you. This is a tremendous game. I won't agree with you that this is nautical.
We're not doing nautical.
It doesn't
We're
have to
doing
be nautical.
Water themed.
Water themed, or uses water in mechanics.
But speaking of nautical, my number 4 is Abandoned Ship. This is a little game where you're on a boat.
On a boat.
You're on a sinking boat. You play a bunch of rats, and you're basically trying to collect cheese as you go up this thing. But there's all these rats of different colors. You get this little secret disc. that shows you which rats you're kind of rooting for. And it's a dice drafting game where you're rolling dice and you're picking a die and moving that rat so far. And so you want your rats to go really far, but you don't want other people to know which rats you're trying to move, etc. But the main thing about it is the board has this huge, like the ocean, and it kind of moves up and slots into and it covers up the ship as it's going up, And so it's like really thematic of this ship sinking. And if the water gets too high and it goes over top of rat's space, he's out.
Yep.
He
Drowns
sinks.
the
He drowns. He's out. So I'm not saying it's the greatest game. It is a cool little filler. It's a light-hearted. It's a Reiner Knizia game, and it's okay. It's not bad. It's fun to play every once in a while. Just when you're like,
Oh yeah.
I just racked my brain on something like Spirits on the Rice Paddy, so let's play Abandoned Ship and just kind of lightheartedly play a game.
Yeah.
So it fits that level of game for me. But the thematics of the water and everything is really cool in it. So,
I agree.
especially the board.
Yeah, very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or not very good game, but it's a good game.
Good game for this.
It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 3 is called Ark, and there are animals that you have to put on your ark in order to save them, and they have all of these conditions that I can never keep straight in my head, like which animals can go next to which other animals, and you have to balance the weight on left and right side of your ark.
Nice.
And the animals it's an area control game in a way, in order to get the animals. There's a lot going on in the game, much more than you would think from such a simple card game. I have a terrible time with it, and and I love it. I love the art. It's a really cute cartoon kind of art, and the game itself is one of these big games in a small package sorts of things.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the animals, what they eat. They ought to be fed. You have to keep animals that eat other animals away from the animals that they eat.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that's good.
Good
Cool.
deal. We're on 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I put what did I put? I put Blackfleet.
Black Fleet.
This
Yes.
is on my short list.
It's a fun little, family weight game. Pirates moving around. But you use cards to do the movement, so that's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just and you pick up stuff and it actually fits in your boat. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And it has the coolest insert, which we talked about before.
Best insert ever. Yep.
It's got a skull and crossbones.
It's a real fun feel to the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 3 for me is Survive, Escape from Atlantis. Anybody else? No.
Oh yeah, I
Talk
like
about
it.
Matt's coming back to that one.
Matt, we coming back?
Yeah.
All right. We'll come back to it.
You want to talk about then?
Sure.
Okay. My number 3 is Captain Sonar, because the whole game is in water.
You're in a sub.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of mechanisms as far as the water goes, but you do need to, avoid land and stuff like that. You have to come up for air and everything. And if you're not familiar with the game, I mean, it's obviously made a huge splash.
Ouch.
But you play it with up to 8 players, 4 on each team, and it's a real-time game where you have somebody yelling out coordinates that the way you're moving, and one of your people's listening in on the opponents and writing down and trying to chart their course that they're taking. And the whole idea is when you get close to where you think that the opponents are, you can stop the game and fire some torpedoes. And the first person to basically eliminate the other team by hitting them like 3 times or something wins the game. So it's pretty cool. I've never played Sonar though. Have you played that? It's like a turn-based version of it.
You own it?
I do own it. It's 4 players.
Okay.
Oh, that's the newer one.
Well,
What's
it's like a Target
truncated
exclusive.
version, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, so they kind of dumbed it down for 4 players.
Okay. No, I haven't played it. No.
It doesn't have a real-time aspect, but I don't know. I think it would be fun, but not as good.
Yeah.
We'll have to try it out.
I think the Captain Sonar is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice for a larger group.
Yes.
Okay, my number 2 is Reef Encounter, and that's a Richard Breese game, and it's a really surprisingly heavy sort of
It doesn't look heavy. On the cover, at
heavy,
least.
like
Yeah.
heavyweight sort of abstract, but it has an animal reef theme to it.
Mhm.
And once you get going with it, it's not that complicated. And the game plays fairly quickly for one that's as thinky as it is. It's got these shrimp that have googly eyes. And
they actually have googly eyes, like they move
they
around?
actually do, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
It's pretty cute. You have a parrotfish that you're trying to feed coral, and the shrimp will protect certain of your coral, and the coral can overgrow other coral. And so you can determine you can determine which kinds of coral can eat, or not eat, but overgrow other coral, and manipulate that during the game. And so it's this super complicated sort of area control thing, where the coral that you've eaten during the game with your parrotfish, at the end, depending on what the dominance of the different kinds of coral are, will determine the points that you get.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Good.
I want to try this one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
We're number 2, right?
Yep.
I went with Takanoko. So in order, you're trying to grow bamboo and stuff, but you're drawing tiles and laying them, but you can't grow bamboo unless they are next to a water source or have a water source led to them.
Good choice. Yeah.
So you've got like these actual like little blue like wooden logs that you're canaling around your little thing you're making. So that is your water source to be able to grow bamboo.
Not nautical.
No. It didn't have to be nautical.
I misunderstood this list.
Okay.
Water theme.
Water theme.
Not nautical. Yeah, I like the game a lot. Yeah, it's very pretty game.
Yes, pretty. It's
Pretty. Number 2 for me is Fields of Green. This game where you are getting these cards and you are making a little tableau of a farm, and you're getting construction cards and field cards and whatnot. And in this game, you have to put out these water towers in order to get water to your fields and do different combos. So,
oh yeah,
very good.
Eric says his top 5 irrigation games.
I probably would have too if I'd known. Because Fields of Green, I love that game.
Oh yeah,
It's so good, and the expansion is great. The fields, what is it?
I've never played this.
The fair.
You have not. Me and George played it.
My number 2 is Oracle of Delphi. And what is interesting about it is that, unlike, other games where you're just walking around, I mean, I guess you're doing that too, but all the spaces have colors. And so it is a little bit of a mind game on spinning your dice and how you can move around and where you can go. Yeah, I guess it could have just been reversed and just been land, but it is neat because of the theme where you're trying to get all this stuff and go back to Zeus. So obviously he's like in the middle of the water and everything. And it's just,
should have been Poseidon.
That would have been, I don't think he's in that. I don't even know why you're turning it to Zeus. As a matter of fact, I have no clue what the story is. I just know you have a ship, Meeple, and you move it around on the different spaces and basically do awesome stuff to play the game.
Make points. Is it a point salad?
No, it's not really.
Oh, really? For once.
It's a Stefan Fell game where it's not a point salad. You have
race game.
Amazed.
You have like 12 missions and it's a race.
Oh.
So you are trying to be the first to complete all 12 and get back to Zeus in the middle.
Is it all 12? I think it's like X of 12.
No, I think it's all of them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm more interested now.
We should play it. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got the dice mechanism is really cool because you're trying to spin the dice and move them around on this. It's not really Mancala, I guess, but it kind of is, because if you want to mitigate a die, it kind of turns into the dice that's next to it. If you want to move a blue to a purple or whatever the colors are, and all the spaces on the board, each space is like a hexagon, and they have like an outline of like purple, black, green, yellow, which represents all the colors of the dice. So on your turn, you spin your dice, and so you might spin a green to move to a green space and spin a blue to move to a blue. But if you spin a blue first and move, now your options are totally changed. So it's like kind of mind-boggling. It limits you in what you can do based on the dice that you have, which is probably a good thing, because otherwise it's so many options.
Pro tip: when you're drafting these starting powers,
it's okay. You'll never get that one. I took it out of the game.
Just get the one that gives you +1 movement.
Yeah, it is legit not fun. Like, we will never play with that again.
Because the best thing in a race is to be able to move an extra spot.
Of course.
Yeah, the whole game is a race, and every single time. Yeah.
Did Eric have that one?
I did twice.
He has twice. Phenomenally won the game. I mean,
twice. Yeah.
I cannot see this thing not being overpowered.
He'd probably still win, though.
Well, maybe, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't be as dramatic.
That's right.
It would be so easy.
Yeah, I think we've proven that it is much better than the other starting powers for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
cool. We'll have to play that one. Yeah.
Honorable mention?
Okay, my honorable mention. I have to say something about Abyss, even though it's not my choice. But you guys haven't played it,
Yeah.
and I figured somebody else would have it on their list because it's sort of the quintessential underwater game. So check out Abyss. That's not my choice. My actual
Primordial Soup.
that's a good one too. Yeah.
Add that one.
Is it just we're gonna top name every water game in the world?
Just our favorites, like Poseidon's Kingdom.
Underwater Cities. We never played that one. Just add that one. Nautilus is over there.
Okay, so
Your actual one.
yes, my actual honorable mention is the honorable mention because it has the same exact theme as one of my other ones. So I picked Ark earlier, but this is called Noah. And it has really great art as well, and it's a game where you have a hand of cards and you're trying to get rid of them, trying to get them out of your hand. And in the center of the table there are 5 arcs, I guess 5 arcs, and you're trying to put animals onto the arcs. And Noah is walking around being a jerk, and
As he usually is.
Yeah.
so you have to play an animal where Noah is in his boat. And so when you put it down, there's a limit to how much weight these boats can take. It's like 13, I think, or maybe 25. I don't know. It's one of those numbers. But all the cards have numbers on them, depending on what the animal is. And when you play it down, if you play a female animal, then Noah moves to the boat either left or right, and you choose which way he moves. And the next player has to play in that boat. And if you play a male animal, then Noah moves diagonally to one of the two, opposite.
Gotcha.
So you choose again which one. And so you can really mess people up because this boat, if they don't have like a mosquito or something tiny, that boat's going to be overflowing,
Yeah.
And what happens is if the boat sinks because it gets too much weight, you have to take all those animals into your like score pile. No, into your hand.
Mhm.
So now you've got all these animals that you still have to try to get rid of. And at the end, when somebody goes out, you're stuck with all these animals in your hand. And those animals didn't make it on the boat and they drowned.
God.
and
So depressing.
yeah, depending on what the animal is, it has these tiers on the card. And the number of tiers is how many negative points you get. Because like a drowned panda, there's nothing sadder than that.
Right.
Like it's like -4,
Yeah.
But a drowned crocodile, like who cares? it's
That's why I say
That's kinda funny,
crocodile
actually.
tears.
and each
Yeah.
of the animals, like so many of the animals have the different powers too. Like you can put down a woodpecker and it like halves the amount that boat can handle because it's been poking holes in the boat.
Can crocodiles drown?
Well,
yeah.
Yes.
They don't have gills, so I mean, they
Yeah.
have to have air. They could tire out while they're swimming.
right.
Unless are they buoyant enough to just float? I don't know.
I mean, there's
they look like a statue in the water.
that's
Just,
what I'm saying. I think they might be able to just float. I'm
well,
not sure.
well, there are marine crocodiles that they'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's whirlpools and stuff. No, they're not gonna
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah. They're dead.
Maelstrom. Cool.
My honorable mention, I actually felt like I did pretty good on this one because it is based in water, but water has nothing to do with the game. But Noctiluca. So it is in the ocean, but it has nothing to do with the water when you're playing it. It's just dice and numbers and whatever. So
Yep.
What is it?
Honorable mention.
Translucent. Oh man.
Noctilucas.
Yeah.
Not the
That's actually the thing. That's what you're getting.
What did you call
sponges, not sponges.
Sparkly sponges.
Sparkly something.
Yeah.
Sea sparkles.
Sea sparkles. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So honorable mention for me is I was gonna go with lifeboat or lifeboats. I chose lifeboats. So in this game, you're gonna do a lot of voting. So in this game, you have these lifeboats, and you have your people in a lot, different ones, and they're all colored. So you start off the game is you're gonna say which one of these boats is gonna spring a leak. So everybody votes on what color boat that they want to spring a leak at. And whoever has the most votes, that springs a
You're
leak.
irrigating your your life raft.
Yeah, these are old boats. You know, you're trying to get to shore, but one of them gets to spring a leak, and for some reason, you get to choose which one is going to spring a leak.
Well, you get to choose with other people.
With other people.
It is a mean game.
Yeah, it is a mean game. And this is probably why I have it on my honorable mention. Also, it does get a little bit repetitious because you're doing so many voting segments in the game.
Yeah.
Because you're doing a voting segment at this point in which one gets a leak. If it's full, then that boat has to vote on who's going to be thrown out to the sharks. So you're voting again. So there is a catch in this. You have like I believe 3 captain hats in your hand. So that captain hat lets you kind of trump everybody else unless they also play a captain hat. So the tiebreaker, anytime you have a tie, is going to go to whoever's the first player for that round gets to choose that tie-breaking element. After that, I believe you do what do you do next? You spring a leak, then you vote, and then you also advance, right? So everybody also, per round, one of these boats is going to advance, and then you're also voting on which of these boats are going to advance. So a lot of voting in the game, very mean. You're not going to make any friends. So that's why
your game group will split up.
That's right. Be careful who you play with. Yeah.
So like Matt, I added Noctilucta to mine as well.
Oh, really?
Because it is, the whole game's about water, but it almost could just be anything. There's nothing about the water that matters in this. But I did add a different honorable mention. I added Carcassone's River expansion. It's just so small that I don't feel like it would have made my list as far as a top item.
It comes in the base game nowadays.
It does, yeah. So you start the game off kind of like in turn order, making this little river, and then you start playing Carcassonne, and the river has a little bit of mechanisms to it. Mainly, it just like breaks up the farms.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so it's cool, but for this list, it's kind of like it has a lot of gameplay impact, but not enough for me to actually add it as like a top 5 item. So, number 1, starting with George.
Oh. Mine is Expedition Northwest Passage. And it's a game where you're trying to get your ship across the Northwest Passage before it freezes over. Well, it will freeze over during the game, and then you're stuck, and you have to take a sled, and then you go out on the sled, and you're trying to get all the way across. And be
Is this like a co-op game?
Oh no.
No.
You're taking turns. Sorry, I'll explain the game a little better. You're taking turns moving your vessel, but also putting out tiles that show water or ice, or how the water is through the ice. And there's a sun piece that will slowly move around the board, and as it goes south, that area is freezing over.
Huh.
So wherever, as it comes down, then you can't sail through that area anymore when the sun is down, basically. And then you have to go out on sleds. And if you are if you're out on sleds, there's like supplies, and you have to leave people behind to do things, and you could just run out of stuff and get stranded. Your boat can get iced in at a very bad time, and then you're not going to make it back, because you have to actually get all the way out and get across and then make it all the way back. And your decisions on when you do things, and are you putting tiles out? Are you trying to move your ship through the tiles that are out there? When do you go? When do you try to mess other people up?
Yeah.
That's really good.
That sounds pretty fun.
And there's an expansion for it that I've never played with yet, but I really want to. And it adds like this killer polar bear. It's this Tumbach kind of.
Is this based on the
Terror?
The Terror.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, everything you're sitting there talking about, I was like, that sounds awful like the thing that actually happened.
Yeah. And so I've got this great
was it the movie The Terror
piece?
Well,
book.
It's an actual event that happened, but they did make a TV series on AMC about it.
Oh, okay.
So
based on a book.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to play that one day.
That actually happened though, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, people.
Oh, I see what you're saying is based on a book that was written though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
When you said I was like fiction.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I thought that really happened.
Oh no, there are all kinds of expeditions that never made it back.
Right.
Yeah, and some that did. So, but then who was it? That actually made it across the Northwest Passage was
can't help you on that
Wait,
one.
Siri
Alexa.
or
Who
Alexa.
made it across the Northwest Passage?
I'm not sure.
Really?
Dang it, Siri.
She knows nothing.
Thanks,
She's like
Alexa.
just call her Jon Snow from now on.
If you think about it, we'll come back.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt, go ahead.
My number one is Survive, Escape from Atlantis. Yeah, it's fun. The things falling out, but the water does have a mechanism to it to where if you're out of the boat to get back in a boat, it takes less of your moves and everything. So, and you're moving the boats anyways.
Plus the island sinking and
Island sinking.
you got all kinds of fish things trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Things. Yeah, sharks
Sea monsters.
and sea
Sea
serpents.
monsters and
Whales
sharks.
don't kill you, but they capsize your boat.
Get rid of your boat.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good stuff.
it's another one that you're not gonna make any friends. Number one for me is Terra Mystica. So in this game, you are building buildings. You're building this town.
Waiting for
or
this one.
towns.
Yeah,
Hmm?
that's
What? There is rivers that run through the whole board, and one of the things that you upgrade is your shipping route or shipping something or another. It allows you to use that river to move further away from your building spots. And
I did
why you
forget
wanna-
about that.
why you want to do that is, depending on the type of land, because you can terraform the different land areas, but to make a marsh into a desert is going to cost more spades than make something else into a desert. So there's reasons why you want to go to different spots on the board. Another reason you might want to build next to other people, because when they build, they give you power. So
Yeah. Cool.
sorry, George. I didn't understand what you were asking there.
No, I remember who it. Like his name is Franklin, but I don't remember his full name. So I'll look it up. My phone is dead. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know why Alexa doesn't know this. Alexa, who went across the Northwest Passage first?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, good God.
Alexa, tell us about the Northwest Passage.
Here's the Wikipedia article on Northwest Passage.
Ooh, what
The
article?
Northwest Passage is, from the European and Northern Atlantic point of view, the sea route to the Pacific Ocean through the Arctic Ocean, along the northern coast of North America via waterways through the Canadian Arctic archipelago. The eastern route along the Arctic coasts of
All right,
Norway
stop.
and
Alexa,
Siberia
stop.
is accordingly
Who
called
made
the
it?
Northeast
Alexa,
Passage.
stop.
Who made it?
All right, well, he'll look that up. My number one is Lewis and Clark. Everybody here probably is not surprised in the slightest. Lewis and Clark, went to the west. They crossed a bunch of water. And I don't know history very well, but I know that in this game, you are trying to travel upstream, essentially, and you will put a marker out, but you don't necessarily get as far as you want it to go. And there's different spaces which eventually come to mountain passes and stuff. But most of the game is sailing on this river and trying to mitigate getting through it. It's kind of a race, so you're trying to see who goes the furthest.
Definitely a race.
It's definitely a race. But I don't know if you've never tried it. We've talked about it quite a bit on the podcast throughout its lifetime. So, fantastic game. I highly recommend it. So,
Okay, so Franklin actually was the lost one. He didn't make it.
No.
It was Amundsen who made it across first.
Okay.
There we go.
Awesome.